What's up, everybody? Welcome to League Unlock, and it's Friday, so that means it's a special episode of Respawn in 30. My name's Eric, here with Mathos, and Respawn in 30 is a little bit of a specialty show because it's Friday, where we're going around the entire esports globe looking at a bunch of different events and tournaments that are ongoing, already happened, and about to happen. And we're starting things off with the Overwatch League Stage 3 action getting underway. It's the first week, and Stage 3, a couple differences than what we saw in Stage 2.
Small, minute ones, but most of them are just maps. We're starting off with the big one being the unfathomably disliked Blizzard World. Now, there's a lot of people that complain about Blizzard World because it is categorized as unbalanced. And quite frankly, the pro play with the week that they've had to practice for it kind of indicates that it is. Only one map in one set actually went the full duration, and everybody else got caught in between this weird parallel between Phase 1, or Stage 1 and Stage 2 on the points. It is a bit of a mess. No one's figured out quite what it is, but like Junkertown, which is also in the pool, everybody's favorite.
The Stage 3 action already, we're a couple days into it now. On Thursday night, aka last night, you had Houston and London. Houston, they may have struggled throughout this season, but they do come up with some big wins, specifically against London. 3 of 4 sets now they've won.
Yeah, yep, and that's half the total losses of the London Spitfire. It's a stylistic matchup that doesn't seem to work in combination with London being physically incapable of playing King of the Hill map to save their lives. They went 2-0 on both attempts. Stylistically speaking, London likes to play aggressively, and the Houston Outlaws will grind and chisel away. They got Jake on a Junkrat doing his thing, or now actually playing the Sombra, which is a unique change. Expect to see a lot more of that, by the way, because she's kind of broken. Anyways, long story short, they got smacked up with authority in a 3-2 beatdown. It's all right, but you know, London's got to figure out what's going on real quick. And Houston, that's a great start for them to figure it out. Not only are you beating a top-tier team, but you're getting over that hump that was really dragging you down to Stage 2.
Yeah, and Houston definitely underperformed, I think, in a lot of people's eyes in Stage 2. So great start with Stage 3. Another great start in Stage 3 came at the hands of the Boston Uprising. Philly, I mean, both these teams have been pretty up and down. So big start for Boston. Get a win.
They look good, got themselves all the way through together. The issue is that Philly was the second place team coming out of Stage 2. And we're doubling down with Beezy, one of their analysts, saying that Boston wasn't that particularly good in the podcast. Lo and behold, we got ourselves actually a relatively close set, all things considered. Boston ended up coming out ahead, and as we'll get into a little bit later, the absence of EQO is clearly doing these guys a disservice. Nevertheless, Snillo still put it down. Fraggy's not getting killed anymore. The production involved in making this team the way they are today definitely has continued, and it hasn't disappeared over the week and a half. Fingers crossed that Philly keeps up the good work. It's a small stumbling block, and as for Boston, they definitely needed this. They were on the losing end of Stage 2, and it's great to see that they figured this all out.
Yes, there's a couple different teams who are starting Stage 3 off pretty well. Team who's not starting Stage 3 off well, jumping back to Wednesday, was the Seoul Dynasty. They got absolutely destroyed by the Los Angeles Valiant, who have a very new looking lineup.
They've made a couple weird changes, to say the least. Valiant, first of all, has overhauled their entire team, which is, you know, great and bad at the same time. It depends if you really dig their fully transparent behind-the-scenes video series that they got running. On the flip side of things, Seoul decided to once again run the roster that seems to be dropping maps a lot more than you would have actually expected a team of this caliber to do. Now, Valiant and Seoul have in previous runs gone back and forth, let's speak English. And those sets are always swings. It's either a 4-0 sweep for the Seoul or 4-0 sweep for LA. And in this case, it just so happened to be Valiant with Space going hard in the paint, mashing people to death. It's a really great start for Valiant. Everybody needs to understand that one way or another, this team was, in Stage 1, an excellent team. Stage 2, that self-destruction and cannibalization didn't do them any favors, but new and improved, got themselves some new blood, got themselves Custa. You know, everybody's looking good on this team. And you know, thankfully, they let Agilities play for once. No more In-N-Out burgers for him.
Well, that's a tragedy. You gotta have In-N-Out burgers.
Not in that context, unfortunately.
Teams that weren't looking good in Stage 2 were Shanghai. Well, they haven't been looking good at all throughout the entire Season 1 of the Overwatch League. And Dallas Fuel had another disappointing stage. They played up in Stage 3 to open up the week. Improvements for both teams. How much can they improve? Because Shanghai made a lot of moves.
Okay, well, Shanghai didn't just make a lot of
down.
moves. They rehauled their entire team from practically scratch. They have, like, I think 2 actually Chinese players left on their team. They've got an entirely new coaching staff. They've obviously brought in Gregory, Fearless, and Otto from the Korean Apex side of things. And on top, and well, at least for Fearless and Otto, Gregory's just been a monster on the ladder. They brought in Sky from Miraculous Youngsters and 2 new coaches to take over the business. When they got rid of, let's see, their crappy tank core, they got rid of Undead due to his baby mama issues. And on top of all that, they got rid of their corrupt boosted coach. So that's a guaranteed improvement. Unfortunately, they lost. You know, all that to say that they've lost. Dallas on the other side of things, I mean, their problems are well known. Everybody's mauling each other to death. Things aren't going necessarily well for them on the internal side of things. Where are the managers and coaches, I ask? But the changes that they made that made them look really good against New York last stage with Seagull on off tank, everybody's looking good this time. And special shout outs to Effect, who clearly took personal offense to the analysts saying that the Shanghai Dragons were going to beat them across the board in the sweep, and he went on a full tilt tirade carrying this team. Some truly disgusting numbers. The man went absolutely ballistic, and to boot admitted that, you know, he had a personality problem, and he's working to adapt that. So, I mean, something must be happening backstage that is settling down these Dallas Fuel players, and hopefully this win is the start of this turnaround that they desperately need.
Yeah, and I think at least both these squads will be more competitive in matches. Maybe just not getting swept every game, because that's no fun. You mentioned EQO earlier. He is suspended. He's not playing in the Overwatch League right now due to some racial issues on his stream.
Mildly racially insensitive. Apparently, EQO wasn't aware that doing a slant-eye gesture is considered racist. He loves Koreans, but he missed the boat on that. Everyone else went crazy in the opposite direction, kind of racist. So they fined him, and weirdly enough, ripped him of all of his stream privileges. So this was on his personal stream where he made the gesture in the first place, and they have since decided that that is no longer going to be any place for him to play until the actual end of Stage 4, somewhere in the mid-June. They've fined him and met money to the total tune of $5,000. EQO is going to be on the bench for 3 games, I believe, so he's going to be coming back in the middle of week 3.
Yeah, and we'll see how they can survive without him, but I mean,
still a great team. Like, they've still made leaps and bounds of improvement. Snell is a monster. So they should be good, but like we said before, they're missing a slot.
3
His
games
presence is missed.
isn't too bad. A lot of moves amongst pretty much all the teams in the league heading into Stage 3. Which are you most impressed with? Which do you think is the best move for any given team? Because there were a lot to pick from.
I mean, I gotta say Shanghai, and it's just because of how bad they were. Like, they broke a 24-map losing streak last night, or 2 nights ago. Miracles, okay? That is a team that was getting absolutely hammered on time and time again. Yes, they're 0-20. Yes, even if they win every single game, 4-0 sweeps, they will not be anywhere near playoff contention for the end of the stage. Yes, they are straining any of the pro franchise people with the fact that you can't get rid of this team. They've signed off 20 milli. There's no relegation, there's no fixing this. They got to do it themselves and do it the hard way. They made a lot of changes. This is the great start to yet still a mountain climb, but hopefully they figure it out. There's a lot of changes going in here that look good, and quite frankly, they did perform infinitely better. They made a lot of smart choices in the games that just didn't end up panning out because, you know, they're still working out the kinks and they've only had their coaches for 2 days. I like Shanghai's hopes.
And just remember, it's only Season 1 of the Overwatch League. You're bound to have at least 1 or 2 teams that missed the mark on their opening rosters. It was Shanghai, but they're looking a lot better. Coming up after the break, we're going to hit up some CSGO. A lot of roster shuffles going on. The Dota 2 Asia Championships. Boy, that was a tough throw. And, of course, Luminosity makes some noise in Call of Duty. Welcome back to Respawn in 30. Eric here with Mathos, bringing you the latest and, of course, the greatest in esports. We're moving over to CSGO, where the roster shuffles are aplenty. Starting off with C9, Stewie 2K is gone. He's on SK. Skadoodle, he's gone. They all gone.
It's a weird set of circumstances, to say the least. The Stewie 2K deal, Stewie wanted to play for SK, and they let him out of his contract to do so. Cool. Obviously buyouts, let's be serious. The Skadoodle thing, he just decided he didn't want to play anymore. So that puts Cloud9 in a bit of a pickle, to say the least. They do, however, pick up FNS, and the rumor is they will also be picking up JDM, but there's no confirm or deny on that particular moment as we speak. FNS will probably be taking over as in-game leader. This is kind of stupid. You're at a point where clearly Cloud9 obviously knew itself that they had themselves a situation where they were fluking the major and not doing very well. Stewie 2K obviously went and took his spot, filling in with some lesser players. These guys are going to be running the mill for the rest of the run by the looks of it. Hopefully it turns around great, but winning another major, this team is not anytime soon.
Yeah, it's tough with a lot of moves like that. FaZe, who've been running up most events, finishing as runner-ups now. Olaf Meister taking some time off for personal reasons. He's away from the team, so they sign Exist.
Yeah, I don't know why. This is a weird situation. We'll get into the little tidbit afterwards that would possibly fill it out. But Taco was a free agent at the time. And I don't know if they went and they decided to talk to him. He played the same role as Olaf Meister. You could have ran him for a short period of time and then figured out, maybe we keep him. Goodbye, Olaf. Have a nice time. Deal with whatever you got to deal with. But instead, we got ourselves FaZe sitting here with Exist, who's not necessarily, known for winning. This isn't a position that he's going to be very, comfortable playing in either. We'll see how this goes. It would have been nice to have, some top tier teams play on a top tier level, but who knows? We'll see how this goes too. But kind of questionable.
Yeah, a little bit questionable. And Stewie 2K is on SK. Taco's no longer on SK. He's going to Team Liquid. It's hard to keep track of all these and remember what team guys are actually on there.
Yeah, Taco being on Liquid picked him up, and he was happy about it. He was like, I wanted to play here, I wanted to stay in North America, I wanted to get my grind on. And he's real pleased about it. He thanks everybody in a big, long twit longer. He's a solid player, to say the least. Maybe this will actually let him develop even further, become an even better player than what he was. We're in a spot now where, Liquid possibly looks better than what they do. They replaced Steel, who everybody was all the rage over until, the Immortals fiasco ended, and then Liquid didn't quite get a lot of things done. Better than they were, but Taco's a better player, and he should be able to make these guys look extra crispy. Hopefully they pull off some solid-ass games, too.
Outside of team stuff, Sadikist, it's not just players who say questionable things on stream. It's also some commentators, and he's receiving some backlash for it, of course.
Every white boy's favorite pastime on Twitch right now is dropping the N-bomb. That's where we're at with Sadikist right now. So it did a combination of a couple things. One, he got tipsy drunk, did a Ask Me Anything for his stream.
Always a good idea.
Yeah, 29 years old, decided to be a great idea, and dropped the N-bomb inefficiently. Racially insensitive is the term I like to use because you can't claim that the man is a racist. Just being a little bit foolish with the terminology he's using. And then, of course, there was the wishful thinking that a man who he doesn't like kill himself. He has since issued out a very lengthy apology saying that, he's in a position where he should have said any of that. It's very unacceptable. He's highly apologetic of the whole situation. He's now actually taking time away from both ESL and DreamHack Marseille, which were the next two events that he would already be lined up to do. People have found replacements for him there. This is one of those things where he's apologized and he's got to do his penance, and then hopefully he doesn't get brought up over the next 10 years because he's great at his job. It's just he made, a silly mistake that he is going to have to hold for a very, very long time. Hopefully he comes out on the other side of things.
Dota 2 Asia Championships, the top four. Now it's really the top three are set, and Mineski is waiting for the winners in the grand finals.
Looking great. This is a wild tournament, to say the least. The group stage needed 11 tiebreaker matches to sort out where guys like TNC, Team Liquid, Optic Gaming, etc. would end up falling through. North American Dota beat up the Chinese early on, but ended up losing to both VG Gaming and TNC and LGD. LGD is in the losers bracket. They got to play Virtus Pro, the arguably #1 team in the world right now. They actually lost to Liquid in an earlier stage. But Virtus Pro said that LGD hadn't been playing quite well. And to be honest, if you watch that TNC match, yeah, Just because they overcame a 30K gold league doesn't mean that they should be in a situation to be playing well, because they're not. They let them pick up a rapier again after killing them with a rapier. TNC ended up throwing. LGD's in a rocky spot in losers bracket. Virtus Pro is looking to smack them up, and Mineski looking crispy. Sitting in winners finals real nice. They've been playing out of their minds this whole tournament. It's an SEA versus China versus CIS finals. I'm pumped to see it up. Wraps up late tonight, early morning Saturday. It should be a banger.
And there's a little PGL drama with Dota 2, as there always seems to be, with some YouTube copyright issues and, getting brought down.
It is a big mistake, to say the least, to mess with PGL. So for anybody who's not in the know, Noob from UA is a highly popular YouTube thief. Basically, he takes other people's content, he cuts them into highlight clips, and then he throws them up on YouTube. Now, generally speaking, that's allowed, but we know for a moment in time, during the entire controversy previously, with restreaming ESL Facebook streams on Dota 2, that you can stream the content and edit it however you like, provided you go through the Dota TV app. We did for our clips, and we can't get sued. Nice thing going down is that they gave him a warning. Noob from UA was said that he tried to compromise. He had his moments chatting with him, and it didn't work out. They were not looking to listen. They hit him with not one, not two, but 3 strikes all at once. He's out. Channel's banned. Don't mess with PGL. These guys swing a serious hammer.
Yeah, you don't want to get messed up with the wrong people. Luminosity Call of Duty earning their first title of this season.
Looking real good. Set themselves up in a primo spot to pick up any kind of fat position for the seeding in the playoffs of the CWL Championships this weekend. They ended up beating Optic and Splice to lock it up. Got themselves $80,000, 25K CWL points. They're going to go hard in the paint for a big $500,000 prize going down this weekend. It should be pretty sweet. Luminosity, Splice, obviously Optic, you can't sleep on them. Guys like Rise Nation. Everybody's looking to be real good. Top 4 setup, pretty slick. Hopefully, we get ourselves some crazy matches and a little less bomb threats, because the last time they did themselves a major, it didn't go too hot in that department.
Yeah, definitely some things they can improve and clean up on a little bit.